Good morning and welcome to the Core Connection. I'm Mira Rubin here with you on Enlightened World Network. And today's topic is simple pleasures. With life getting so complicated, it's wonderful to know that we can have very simple things that can bring us back to a place of center or find comfort. So we're going to talk about those simple pleasures. But before we get started, let's take a minute or two to get present. So let's take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And imagine clean, crisp oxygen flooding your lungs, flowing into your bloodstream, nourishing all your cells, all your organs, and bringing vital life energy to your body and being. And as you exhale any tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's take another deep breath in through your nose and hold it. This time, imagine brilliant, bright light lighting you up from the inside out, illuminating, electrifying, energizing all your cells, your molecules, your electrons, and creating this brilliant beam of light from your heart out into the world. And as you exhale any remaining tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's just gently press our palms together and very, very softly rub your fingers against your palms to feel the deliciousness of that sensation and allow that sensation to bring you present right here, right now, to this marvelous physical form that enables you to experience life. And welcome, welcome, welcome. It's a Monday. It's so good to be here with you. And I am excited to talk with you about simple pleasures. So what does it look like? What are simple pleasures? What are some things that you can do or that you do to bring comfort to yourself, to ease your stress or tension in the face of things that are happening in the world? I guess what we're talking about is self-care and simple pleasures. So one of the things that comes to mind for me is hot chocolate. I don't know why, but I don't have hot chocolate that often, but when I thought of something that would be wonderfully nurturing and indulgent both, I thought of hot chocolate. And I had you're going to hear how nerdy I am. I had oat milk and cocoa powder, raw cocoa powder, and agave nectar, and made this wonderful, delicious ambrosia of these things to just create the warmth of the cup. I mean, just so now the warmth of the cup, the smell of it, the steam rising, the texture of it on my tongue, the taste of it, all those things were really simple pleasures. And I think when we presence ourselves, I mean, sometimes there are special treats that are these simple pleasures that offer us comfort and delight. I think that if we can source these experiences for ourselves, that we enrich our lives and we can counteract the stresses that we might be experiencing. I think one of the big things when we're experiencing these stressors is to remind ourselves to take a moment for self-care. So I just want to tell you that if I'm not if you're putting comments in the chat and I'm not responding, it's because I don't see them. So if you want to add comments, go to the Facebook page for Enlightened World Network. And then if you put comments in there, I will respond to them. As long as I see them, I will respond. So don't think that you're being ignored. You're not. I just don't see any comments at all in the chat. And sometimes we have challenges with the chat. I don't know what makes that happen, but sometimes that happens. Technology, what can you do? Anyway, there we go. Tammy, good morning. How wonderful to know that you're listening while you work. And so even while you're working, there are simple pleasures that we can gift ourselves, even just the pleasure of a deep and slow breath, to allow ourselves to become present, to just relax. I don't know about you, but I have noticed that I hold tension in my body oftentimes without even being aware of it. And when I become most aware of that tension is when I'm trying to sleep at night, because sometimes I have a challenge getting to sleep. And what I notice, good morning, Rosalind. I'm so glad to have you here with us. Yes, I love that you say it's a pleasure to be with you, core connectors. That's beautiful. Thank you, Rosalind. So at night, particularly when I'm trying to go to sleep, what I notice is really helpful is if I put my attention on making very deep diaphragmatic breaths for one, and also noticing where there's tension in my body. And even when I think I've relaxed, I frequently notice that I have all kinds of tension in my upper back, especially in shoulders. And so to be deliberately putting my attention on that, to release that tension, is another simple pleasure, because there's such an ease that comes about when we allow ourselves to release tension. So back to the hot chocolate idea, I have this little concoction that I drink each morning that has magnesium and vitamin C and some other minerals and vitamins in it. And there's a pleasure to me, like that, the taste of that, the warmth of the cup. It's there, the ritual of it, when I allow myself to be present to it, is also another really, really simple pleasure. And I think the key for any of these pleasures is to allow ourselves to be present, because that when we're present, there's so much richness in our experience, right? That there is a pleasure to it. And allowing ourselves that pleasure is good for our health, even because we're releasing tension, we're creating all kinds of good chemicals in our body. And so I have a cat, her name is Jewel. I've mentioned her before, and I adore this very person. And just petting her and interacting with her is such a pleasure. When I allow myself to be really present to her, it's such a gift. And I guess, we've talked about appreciation and gratitude. When appreciation and gratitude is a wonderful way to be granting ourselves pleasure. And it's such a simple thing to do. And it's a gift to ourselves that expands in the experience of it. So I'm wondering, like sometimes, like maybe you have a comfy blanket that you enjoy wrapping yourself in, or maybe you have a piece of clothing that you just really feel delicious in. And nurturing these experiences is something that it's such a simple thing to do, to nourish and nurture ourselves, to give to ourselves something that is renewing. We all have all kinds of externalities to be dealing with in the world. And when we can bring ourselves back to appreciation, enjoyment, pleasure, that we renew ourselves, we revitalize ourselves. So I like that. I don't know if anybody else would like it, but that little beverage that I make. Anyway, I'm wondering what kinds of things you do for yourself, simple pleasures, simple rituals, maybe, that you get some enjoyment out of. Maybe you have things that you recite to yourself that are uplifting, whether they be prayers or affirmations, or a song that you sing for yourself. What kinds of things are simple pleasures that you enjoy? Might be a an activity, that is renewing and revitalizing, like crafting for some people. So Ralston says, I love sitting in my recliner. It's so comfy. I can't finish a movie. Maybe 1 hour TV series is all I can stay awake for. So that's an awesome thing. What you're talking about is you've got this wonderful chair, and when you sit in it, it's an opportunity to relax. And so what's interesting about that is that there are multiple anchors for you there. There's the chair itself, which has its sensations, or which provides you sensations of comfort. There's also the physical location that acts as an anchor for relaxation. And so, it's kind of a perfect combination of things to allow you to relax, which is really awesome. And we have, this is interesting actually, place as ritual, so, or as a very important part of ritual. So my cat Jewel is in her 16th year, and she periodically, you guys have prayed for her, and I'm so grateful. Periodically, she has issues around eating, where she just won't eat. And in those periods, what I notice is that if I move her dish to a different place, sometimes that will work, and sometimes she'll eat. So it's almost like she has this association with the place that is a negative rather than a positive association. And when she's going through those periods where she won't eat, so by switching that up, it gives entree into allowing her to eat, maybe without the fear or the whatever the negative association is that she might have to where the feeding dish is, because she'll eat and get sick. And in her mind, I think it's associated with the place. So that's interesting, because we can have very positive or very negative associations to different places. Of course, we can be neutral about a place as well, but so maybe there are some places that you go that it's a simple pleasure, maybe to take a walk in the woods or a garden, or even just take a walk. Maybe that's something that's a simple pleasure. Simple pleasures are things that we can readily access, and they don't cost money necessarily, and they provide us with a reward, right? That is just easy. So Rosalind says, my ritual around the recliner is a cup of tea after dinner. So the tea is part of that comfort, the recliner. And Rosalind says, and if I'm lucky, a dog or cat will sit on my lap. I meditate, sleep, LOL, in it for a couple of hours and then move to bed. That just sounds so lovely, Rosalind. You know, I feel the comfort of that just in your recounting of it. And maybe there's a comfy blanket, or maybe there's a special pillow that you enjoy. Anybody, I'm not just talking to you, Rosalind, but anybody. Maybe there's some particular kind of music, or what are maybe even some people enjoy incense, or a particular smell. Maybe you have some essential oils that you enjoy very much, and the smell of it just sort of lights you up. There are, you know, our olfactory sense is a very, very powerful trigger for memory, and we can be very, very stimulated. So different aromas bring back all kinds of memories, and also just stimulate different kinds of feelings. So that's a simple pleasure, is to allow yourself to smell something delicious and get comfort from that. Many of us find comfort in food, which is a mixed blessing, right? That there are certain, we talk about comfort foods. When I think about comfort foods, even though I haven't had it for years and years, I remember grilled cheese and tomato soup. And the grilled cheese was American cheese on white bread that my mom would grill, and with lots of butter, and Campbell's tomato soup from the can. But that became such a source of comfort for me. And also, this is interesting too, in rituals, you know. So we had a big snowstorm where I am in the Philadelphia area over the weekend. And I was talking to my mom. She said, you know how I spell snow, SOUP, because she would always make, whenever there was going to be a snowstorm, she would always make this very hearty vegetable soup. And that also became a comfort food, and, you know, another simple pleasure. So what other kinds of things do you do for yourself, or allow yourself to experience, that's a simple pleasure? You know, what other kinds of things nurture and nourish you, that has easy access? Sometimes doodling or drawing, or we said crafting, knitting. I know that I knit. I haven't knit for a little bit, but I find there's comfort in that, in the concentration, you know, both the concentration and the routine of it, you know, the routine movement. So sometimes having it's interesting. I'm thinking about different learning styles, and I know that rather than just listening to something, oftentimes if I engage myself with some kind of activity, that I am able to tune in from a different level. Like, and I understand that this is something that works for a lot of folks with ADD, ADHD, is to have something to kind of occupy the hands while engaging in something else. Maybe it's that it slows down the mind somehow, like perhaps it helps um to distract some of the over energy, so that it's being absorbed in whatever the hands are doing, and then the information is better absorbed. I don't know. I'm not a neuroscientist, or but I find that what people often think is a distraction, like, especially if it's kind of the routine knitting, for example, or crocheting or something like that. It's an activity. I guess I don't remember the name of the little devices that people have. I want to say spin it, or I'm not thinking of it, but that is something that can offer that just enough distraction, which paradoxically allows for greater attention. It's interesting to see how our minds work, but even those kinds of simple pleasures, maybe a game on your phone, for example. Like I do Sudoku. Hello, Robin. I don't know what lum is. Welcome, welcome. It's good to have you here. Oh, loom. Yes, exactly. Like weaving, for sure. Is loom a game, or are you talking about actual weaving? Because I have done a lot of weaving too. Good morning, Robin. Um, I I I love weaving. That's something that allows me to focus attention. I do enjoy doing creative things, making things. So working on a loom it can be very repetitive, which is cool. And it's larger body motion if it's a big loom, so that there's more of you involved. So Robin says weaving. Yeah, weaving's awesome. And it takes a concentrated focus. I tend with weaving and with knitting to choose things that are more complex, that require my attention to, what row I'm on, and I tend to choose projects that are more intricate rather than purely routine. But so that takes a greater focus of attention. It's not as automatic. But there's a meditative aspect about some of these repetitive kinds of activities that that's nurturing, that's comforting. And so I wonder, Robin, for you, what is the comfort that you glean from weaving? Simple pleasures and comforts is what we're talking about. And if you're putting comments in the chat and you're not getting a response, please know that it's because I don't see your comments. So go to the Facebook page for Enlightened World Network and put your comments there. And I promise if I see them, I'll respond. So yeah, simple pleasures. I think that the reason for the conversation is because we can easily get bound up with the stressors of moment to moment life and the demands, and sometimes we just do not take the time to nurture ourselves and to nourish ourselves, replenish ourselves. And there are so many things that we can do that provide that simple pleasure, that sense of ease and relaxation and replenishment. So having an arsenal of those activities or mindsets prepared for ourselves is a wonderful thing. Then the challenge becomes to just remember, oh, I can take a break, I can rejuvenate, I can replenish myself. So Robin says, my mom and I play phase 10 card game. I've never heard of that. To keep a sharp thinking cap on. I have not heard of that. Taking a shower to wash away the day. Absolutely, Rosalind, that's brilliant. I found a spray with essential oils with lavender. It's quick. Lavender is a really helpful thing to spray away tensions too. And I find shower and a bath, oh my gosh. And so Rosalind says alternative to a bath. For me, a bath is so big, you know, such a gift. And I take a bath frequently. It's very comforting. Robin says, she is 94 years young. I live with her right now. Wow, Robin, kudos to your mom and kudos to you. 94. That's amazing. Well, guys, I just noticed the time. I have a 9:30 appointment with a client. I am so delighted to be with you and to start off this week with the notion of simple pleasures and self-care and nurturing and how important it is. It really, truly is profoundly important for us to be taking care of ourselves in the face of all of the radical changes that are occurring in our world minute by minute. So with that thought, I'm Mira Rubin. This is the Core Connection. And I go live here on the Enlightened World Network Facebook page each weekday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. It's such a privilege and pleasure to be with you and to share in these conversations. And I think that's it for today. I encourage you to check out the other awesome programming on Enlightened World Network and Enlightened World Living and EWN One with the Earth. And until next time, so much love to you.